Welcome to the Language Learning Insights, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating world of language acquisition. I am your host, Vince Gideon Estoya, and today we're going to expand on our discussion about the innatist and the social interactionist theories. These theories provide different perspectives on the mechanisms behind how children learn to communicate. To help us understand these theories better, we have two distinguished experts joining us today. We have Dr. Marian, a renowned linguist specializing in the innatist theory, and also with us Dr. Rachel, a psychologist with a deep focus on social interactions. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you, Vince. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thanks. I'm really excited to talk about this series with you.
Before we jump into the discussion, I just want to know how are you feeling? How are you both feeling today?
I'm quite nervous, but I'm also excited because it's my first time to be in a podcast session. And yeah,
Well, for me, I'm also excited about this. However, I'm a little bit of nervous since this is my first time. But I will be good. All of this will be good.
Since both of you are in a different field, how does it feel to be a podcaster or in a podcast session? Since it is your both of you, it is your first time to be in a podcast. How does it feel?
um, well, I feel nervous because this, as a linguistic, this is different from my career, so I'm new to this. That's why.
Well, for me, I'm a little bit of excited because we were going to talk about the juries, which supposed to be our fields. However, since this is my first time, then I feel like something trembling in my heart. But I think all all this will be settled once we have already talked about something about the juries.
Since we're talking about language, I'm just curious. Can you both tell us about your L1, L2, and how did you acquire these languages?
Mm.
We
So
wanna
for
hear it.
my L1, it is Tagalog or Filipino since my parents grew up in Metro Manila and so am I. So that's my mother tongue. And my second language or L2 is English because I learned that in school.
Well, I do believe we all have here the same L1 and L2. Well, I'm also my first L1 is Tagalog, and second one is English. For Tagalog, because I believe because this was because we're Filipino, that's right, and also this comes from my mom and dad. And for the L2, since English is a international language, that's why I have quite learned a lot about it.
I think we three are having a lot of similarities. I'm I'm also going to tell about my L2 and L1. So my L1 as well is Tagalog or the Filipino language because just like you guys, my parents are both Filipinos, native Filipinos, and I was born in Metro Manila. And my L2 is English, the English language because I when I was a kid, I was already exposed with English films or English movies in Hollywood, and I'm also exposed in different English music, since we all heard about the English supremacy stereotypes back in our elementary days, that if you know how to speak English, you are smart. And we all know that's not true, because that English language is not the basis of one's intelligence, right?
That's true, Vince.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and start by briefly explaining each theory for our listeners. Our linguist, Miss Marian, could you give us an idea on how the language acquisition device, or LAD, works according to Chomsky's innatist theory?
Of course. So, the innatist theory, developed by Noam Chomsky, suggests that children are born with an innate ability to acquire a language. Chomsky argued that children don't just imitate adults, they have a biological predisposition to learn language. This is facilitated by the Language Acquisition Device, or LAD, and Universal Grammar, which serves as mental templates for processing and applying linguistic structures. For example, even without explicit teaching, children can grasp complex grammatical rules, which indicates their inherent linguistic capabilities.
Can you share any personal or professional experiences where you observed the principles of the innatist theory in action?
Well, one notable experience was observing a bilingual child effortlessly mastering English and Spanish grammar without formal instruction. This aligns with Noam Chomsky's innatist theory, demonstrating the innate ability of children to intuitively grasp and apply complex language rules from a young age.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing an experience with us, Marian. Now, our psychologist, Dr. Rachel, could you give us an overview of the social interactionist theory?
Yes, of course. So the social interaction theory emphasizes the crucial role of social interaction in language development. And according to this theory, caregivers and parents are pivotal in imparting language through meaningful conversation, questioning, and scaffolding. And Levi Vygotsky introduced the concept of the zone of proximal development, or what we call the ZPD. And this highlights the importance of the social support in helping children achieve language skills they couldn't reach independently. So, for instance, a child might struggle to use complex sentences alone, but with the parent help, they can construct and understand this type of sentences.
Can you provide examples of how caregivers and parents can actively support language acquisition through everyday interactions?
Well, in the interactionist theory, caregivers can actively support language acquisition by engaging children in meaningful conversation. So, for that, providing responses feedback to their language attempts, and introducing new vocabulary during everyday activities, and activities like reading alone, storytelling, and joint play also promote language development by encouraging the children to use language to express ideas, interact socially, and explore the environment. I know all of us can relate that most of the parents do this and that for their children to learn and our mental capacity and molding with the parents and the caregiver teaching us which is which, and that is a big help to construct a language.
That is great. Now that you have a basic understanding of both theories, let's dive into the differences. Our linguist, Miss Marian, what do you see as the primary distinction between these two approaches?
I believe the main distinction is the source of language learning. So, Inutists believe that language acquisition is driven by an internal mechanism, the LAD, and that children have an innate capacity to generate linguistic hypotheses. For example, children can create sentences they've never heard before, indicating that they're not merely imitating but actively constructing language. On the other hand, social interactionists emphasize the importance of external social interactions and the support provided by caregivers in the learning process.
And
What about
absolutely,
you?
yes, another key distinction is the role of the environment. So, Enetists believe the environment plays a minimal role, mainly providing linguistic input that children process using their innate capabilities. And in contrast, social interactionists argue that the environment, particularly social interaction, is crucial for language development. And for instance, a child raised in a highly interactive environment with a constant verbal engagement is likely to develop language skills more rapidly compared to a child with less interaction.
I think I'm receiving tiny hints. Give me more differences so that I and the listeners can differentiate the theories in a deeper sense. Miss Marian?
So, another thing in language acquisition, in an innatist perspective, children tends to be creative in constructing sentences or words since they are relying on personal brain process. They create language in the sense of what they feel and think is right. On the other hand, the social interactionist perspective solely relies on what is imparted to them by their parents or caregivers.
Those are clear distinctions. Now let's talk about the similarities. Both theories emphasizes the importance of linguistic input for language acquisition. How do each of these theories view the role of this input in learning process?
Well, both theories acknowledge the importance of linguistics input that children receive. And despite their different approaches, they agree that exposure to language is necessary for acquisition. And additionally, both theories recognize that language learning is a gradual process where children language use evolves over time as they gain more exposure and experience. Like, for example, both juries would agree that the child's vocabulary expands significantly as they are exposed to more words and contexts.
What about for you, Miss Marian?
I would add that both theories also emphasize the significance of errors in language learning. So while Unitists believe children learn from their language errors by refining their hypotheses, social interactionists see caregivers correcting errors and providing feedback as crucial for learning. In both cases, making mistakes and receiving input helps children improve their language skills.
It's interesting to see how these theories intersect and diverge. Let's discuss now how these theories can complement each other in practical setting, like classroom. Miss Marian, could you start?
Sure, in a classroom, teachers can utilize both approaches by providing a rich linguistic environment and opportunities for interaction. For example, while engaging in conversations and group activities, Teacher can also encourage children to explore and generate language independently. Activis- Activities such as storytelling or creative writing can tap into children's natural language instincts, allowing their innate abilities to flourish.
And absolutely, I agree. Teacher can scaffold children's learning by guiding them through challenging tasks within their ZP, while also encouraging autonomous language exploration. And for example, during a reading session, a teacher might initially read a story to the class, like providing linguistic input and interaction, and then encourage the student to create their own endings to the story, leveraging their innate language capabilities. And this dual approach caters to different aspects of language acquisition, making the learning process more effective.
That's a fantastic insight. It seems that both theories have valuable contributions to language learning. Thank you, Miss Marian and Miss Rachel, for sharing your expertise with us today. And this has been a fascinating discussion.
Thank you, Vince. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Ben. I enjoy our conversation.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Language Learning Insights. We hope you found today's episode enlightening. Join us next time as we explore more topics in the world of language acquisition. Until then, keep learning and stay curious. Good night, everyone.